Greetings and salutations, friends. I am the Wolf. I got my coffee. Let's play Elden Ring. Okay, first things first, we're going to start a new game, of course. And we will be choosing the Bandit class, and I will explain why in a moment. For detailed appearance, I am looking for the Wolf. There's that handsome man. Mature voice. And then it lands between rune. And then what shall his name be? Cannot be anything but Peregrine Wolf, or Parry for short. Peregrine Wolf the First, because he's a sophisticated guy. So the reason we are starting as the Bandit is the Bandit starts with the buckler. And what we are doing here is we are doing a parry guide. My first of maybe many, if this does well and people find it helpful and entertaining. So before we get into the meat and bones of this parry guide, I'd like to talk about the Ashes of War, the different Ashes of War you can use for parrying. And we're not going to get into every Ash of War. I'm just going to talk about my three favorites. The first being the buckler parry, of course. That's why we're starting with the Bandit, because he starts with the buckler. It's actually third on my list of favorites, with Stormwall being second and Carian Retaliation being absolutely first. In my opinion, it blows all other parry Ashes of War out of the water. I really like Carian Retaliation. It's the only Ash of War I subscribe to for parrying. But these other two, Stormwall and Buckler Parry, they're just about as good. I got to give them their props. So the advantage of the... Well, let's look at the numbers first of all. So if you go to the Elden Ring wiki and you look at the numbers on the different parries, the buckler uses 0 FP as a skill. It has a delay of 4 frames. That's at 30 FPS, again, according to the wiki. Has a delay of 4 frames from when you press the button, then a duration of 5 frames, and a recovery of 12. So it has the quickest recovery of any of the Ashes of War. And you can start the game with it. If you don't start the game with it, you can buy it pretty early on. I'm just going to switch my flasks here and put them where I like to have them for a moment. Okay. So after the buckler parry, I really like the Stormwall Ash of War. And I'm going to be showing you how to get that in just a couple of minutes here. When you look at the numbers on the Stormwall, it uses 3 FP to cast. That's every single time. It has a delay of 4, which is exactly the same as the buckler parry. A duration of 5, again, just like the buckler parry. But it has a recovery of 14. And you wouldn't think there would be a huge difference between 12 frames and 14 frames, but for some fights, depending on what the strategy is you're using, you can actually feel the difference, especially if you really get into parrying like I did, and you're parrying a lot, you will start to feel a difference in the Ashes of War after a while. I'm just gonna buy a little thing from Kale real quick. I want the crafting kit. May as well get these 3 pots, and then I'll save my other runes for a lantern. Okay, and then the third Ash of War for parrying, and my personal favorite, is the Carian Retaliation. Now, Carian Retaliation Carian Retaliation uses 8 FP to cast, but that is only when you are parrying magic. And I want to be very clear about that, because some people misunderstand that. Some people think Carian Retaliation is trash because it requires FP to use. But if you're not parrying magic, you can use parry as a melee parry all day long, and you'll never use a single drop of FP. It also has a delay of 4, a duration of 6, so it lasts 1 frame longer, which in my opinion gives it an advantage in melee even over the buckler parry. And then it has a recovery of 13, which is only 1 more frame than the buckler. So, truthfully, all of these Ashes of War are really good for parrying. But Carian Retaliation does have the disadvantage that you can't pick it up until you have to go all the way to Liurnia of the Lakes, to the Carian Manor, and defeat Loretta in order to get it, which, depending on your skill level and your comfort level with this game, that might be a viable option for you to pick it up early. It is certainly for me. Yeah, for most people, especially if you're beginning and you're starting out parrying for the first time, Buckler Parry and Stormwall are going to be your bread and butter for parrying. Actually, I'm not going to jump onto Torrent yet. I'm just going to come up here to this guy. We're not going to do any parrying yet. We're just getting a couple of items that we need. I'm going to take him out so he doesn't bother me. And I'm going to grab this weapon here. I have a purpose for this weapon in a moment. Now we're going to come down here, of course, grab the map, and then we're going to go over there and get the Whet Blade, because we will want the Whet Blade for the Stormwall Ash of War. The other big advantage that Stormwall and Carian Retaliation have over the Buckler Parry is they can be applied to medium shields, which is a big deal for some enemies where you might want to use blocking in addition to parrying. In fact, there's quite a few enemies in the game where that's kind of my strat, to use a combination of blocking and parrying in order to fight them. Now, let's see. Before I go any further, I need to stop and think about what I was going to do. Alright, I'm going to go back to Gatefront. We're going to go get a shield, and we're going to get the Stormwall Ash of War. And then we'll get into parrying. So I'm going to show you where to find these things. So let's hop on the Torrent and let's ride. We'll just come up here. So what we'll do is I'll take you through a couple of different places to practice and get familiarize yourself and practice to get the muscle memory down for parrying enemies. And hopefully by the end of this video, I'll have you parrying your first couple of bosses, if I do my job right. So we're just coming up here to Stormhill Shack, where Roderica is, where we meet her for the first time. I'm not gonna waste a bunch of time talking to all these NPCs. I'm just gonna try to stay focused on the tutorial video here that we're doing, which is kind of killing me a little bit because I'm one of those people, I have to do 100% of all of the things. But we're going to stay focused. We're going to come up behind this giant guy. Could have gone back to the Church of Ella. You know, it's fine. It's fine. I have other characters that that have those items. I don't need to waste time going and collecting them. I don't know why I struggled getting down the side of that thing just now. So here we are at the War Master's Shack. Now he does have a parry skill. It's just parry, and that can also be applied to small and medium shields. The frames are, you know, not quite as good, honestly. It doesn't do anything extra like these other parry Ashes of War. So I am heading just east of the War Master's Shack, just collecting some root resins. It's just a habit for me. We're going to come up here and get Golden Bow, which is a really good Ash of War for increasing your damage. And then we're going to come down here, and that's where our shield is. I did not mean to hop off of Torrent. And so we're going to come up here. Somewhere there's a little more root resin. There we go. Alright, and so I didn't even check first to see if I could wield this weapon. Can I, if I'm two-handing? Nope, not even strong enough. Alright. Well, let's see what I can do with this dagger. Normally I take a heavier weapon and come up here and take him out. That's fine. I'll try not to embarrass myself too much Nice. Okay. Oh, the horse is almost gone. Come on. Come here. Stop running around. Get over here and get wrecked, dude. There we go. Now let's take him out. Please, please take him out. Thank you. Oh, what a maroon. What a nin cow poop. Alright, you know what? Well, why don't we try to parry this guy real quick? Let's see. Can we? Can we do it? There we go. Okay. I'm not going to consider him part of the tutorial just yet. I just wanted to take him out quickly so that I could stay focused on what I'm trying to teach you. So, I'm going to come over here. He can actually be parried off of his horse, but that's a little more... it's not a beginner type thing to do, so... This dagger that the bandit starts with, the great knife, it's a really great knife for a parry build, because it has the bleed that you've probably seen me proc a couple of times here. But if you go and you get a cold Ash of War like Hoarfrost Stomp or Chilling Mist, which are up in Liurnia of the Lakes, you can apply that in the cold affinity, and then you get bleed and cold with this, with the great knife. So it's very powerful. It's a great way to fight Margit, actually, which I could get into a little bit with this video. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go learn how to parry some dudes. Actually, before we do that, let's come over here. So this is the shield that I just picked up. Wow, he only has 9 strength. I'm gonna give him a level. I don't usually start as the bandit. I usually start as like the wretch or something. So I need him to have 10 strength so that he can use this shield. So he can use this this Beast Crest Heater Shield. And we are going to, because we got the Whet Blade. Oh, I didn't get the Storm Wall Ash of War. Let's go get that. Come on, stay focused, Wolf. Alright, let's go get the Stormwall Ash of War, which is up here north of the Stormhill Shack site of grace, past this Finger Reader Crone. You're going to come up here to the Broken Bridge, come down here onto these rocks. Right in this little nook here is where we're going to find the Stormhill Ash of War. So, I think I was talking about I could get into parrying Margit a little bit in this video. I would probably save like a full parry tutorial on him for a future video. So if that's something that people would like to see, if you know, especially if this video does well, I could continue this parry series, do like a whole thing. Didn't really need to grab that cookbook, but whatever. It's just everything, a lot of this stuff that I'm doing is just sort of force a habit. It's things that I just automatically do when I'm starting the game. So let's take this guy out. Either take him out by reducing his HP to 0 or knocking him off the cliff. There we go. Alright, let's clear that. Let's go back to Agheel Lake North. Agheel, oh Agheel, Pharaoh flame of Agheel. Okay. Let's see. Ashes of War. Stormwall, we're applying that to the Beast Crest Heater Shield. And now let's get now let's get into some parrying. So we came here to the Agheel Lake south side of Grace, and I'm going to make it daytime so that these enemies will be able to spot me more easily. And these are the first enemies we are going to teach ourselves how to parry on. So I got two different types of shields, the buckler and the two different types of Ashes of War, the buckler parry and the storm wall. And yeah, let's just get into it. So with a lot of enemies in this game, especially the like the NPC invader type enemies, the more humanoid type enemies, these guys especially, if you can kind of take advantage of this thing that they do where if they're sprinting at you, you can just run up to them and get a parry. Like, just press the parry button and you'll get an automatic parry. Like, with these guys, it's 100% of the time. And with most invader type NPCs, most humanoid enemies, you can do that as well. There are a few exceptions like Parry and the Ancient Dragon Man. They're a little more complicated, but yeah, that basic rule applies to a lot of enemies. And there's different speeds. There's walking, there's jogging, and there's sprinting. So what you're looking for is you're looking for them to sprint at you. And in the case of these guys, they'll sprint at you with their weapon raised. So we're going to come over here. We're going to get his attention. Come here, sir. Yep, you can see me. Come on. Yep, okay, so he's running at me. Just walk up to him, hit the parry button. Easy peasy every time. I shouldn't talk like that, actually. If you're new to parrying, it might take a little bit of practice. But yeah, this is a perfect way to get used to parrying in the beginning of the game. And the purpose for coming here is twofold. These are going to be the simplest enemies in the game to parry, for the reasons that I just explained and showed off. But you're also going to farm at least one dagger off of these guys. In fact, I would probably farm two so I could put Golden Bow on another dagger. That parry didn't connect. Now, this is a complaint that I have about the buckler parry. Is that depending on the terrain, it seems to have a little bit of a tough time connecting sometimes, at least for me. But if I wait for this guy to run at me... Alright. Maybe I'm just having a skill issue this morning. Come on, guys. There we go. See, he was sprinting at me with his weapon raised. I was able to just walk up and get a parry. Let's see if I can do that with this guy now. There we go, just like that. And just for the heck of it, I'm just gonna come and take this guy out. You can't parry a crossbow. I could parry his crossbow bolts with the Stormwall Ash of War. I've never done that. There's not really much of a point. Like with Kari in Retaliation, you parry magic and then that gives you those glint blades that then fire back at the enemy. That's tremendously useful, but just knocking an arrow out of the way really isn't that useful in my opinion. So I'm gonna swap back to the buckler and see. I seem to have trouble with these guys in the buckler parry, and I have noticed sometimes there can be some weird stuff happening with terrain and different levels. The Godskin Apostle in the base of the Tower of Caelid, the Divine Tower of Caelid, I have noticed that is like huge with him, where like if he's just like standing on a rock and you're slightly lower than him, your parries won't connect, and it is extremely frustrating. So that's something I think that's worth bearing in mind when it comes to parrying, is that yes, it's the, you have to learn you have to teach yourself the timing and all of that stuff, but sometimes your parry might be just exactly dead on balls accurate and you're gonna miss. And if you feel like that's happening, check out the terrain and see if it could be that that's a problem. I'm not gonna waste time for him to come run at me. I'm just gonna reset and Try again. I'm trying to explain things and farm for the dagger at the same time here. But I'm not going to waste too much time here. If I don't get the dagger, I'm just going to move on to the next thing. But I also find myself explaining things about parrying. But the other thing with that Godskin Apostle is just he's probably one of the hardest parries, even harder than Melania, because a lot of his parries are very positional, and you have to be in the right, just the right exact position to get the parries off. So yeah, he's if you can't tell, he's a very frustrating enemy for me anyway. So anyway, we're not fighting the Godskin Apostle right now. We're just fighting these dudes. I'm gonna keep farming them for a dagger. If I don't get a dagger soon, I'm just gonna go on to the next guys. In fact, I'll probably fast forward through a lot of this stuff. Come at me, bro. There we go. But you can see they're running at me. I'm just walking up to them, hitting the parry button, and getting the parry almost every time. And then it's just wash, rinse, and repeat at this point. But you know what? I'm not going to waste any more time on this. You guys get the idea. Let's go back to Gatefront and get into the next step. Step 3 of this parry guide. Step 1 was getting the Ashes of War you needed. Step 2 was those guys. And now step 3 is Gatefront. And this Gatefront here, this is where you are really going to teach yourself about different parry timings. And I'm just going to look at something here. As far as leveling up goes, let's see, what do we got? You're really going to want to focus on vigor and dexterity in the beginning, because the weapons, the daggers that you're going to be using for riposting are going to scale primarily off of dexterity, and then vigor, you're going to be taking a lot of damage as you learn these parries. So I would recommend in the beginning just focusing on vigor and dexterity. So the first guy right here is the spear guy, and this is where I really like to use a shield. Because sometimes you can get different attacks that are not parryable and you can just block them. Now that attack is parryable, and that's probably one of the first attacks you're going to parry. Let's see. If he does the slow attack, there we go. So he very slowly brings the spear back, and then just as you see that spear move up for the stab, that's when you want to hit that parry button. So let's see that again. Let's come over here and reset. So let's come over here, get his attention. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Are you gonna come and fight me? There it is. Okay, as you can see, I messed that up, which is fine. If at first you don't succeed, try again. As you know, many parry playthroughs as I have done, I'm still not perfect every time. I still make mistakes, and if you're new to parrying, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes too, so you gotta be really kind and forgiving to yourself. Don't beat yourself up too much. If you don't get it right away, you're not gonna get it right away. It takes a lot of practice. And like I said, as you can see, I mess up from time to time as well. I have a lot of parry-only no-hit videos, but what you don't see behind the scenes is, like, you know, sometimes I might wake up in the morning and go in and parry an enemy, like, first try, and get a no-hit, you know, and it's super awesome. Most of the time it takes several tries, and then sometimes it might take hundreds of tries, you know, because maybe it's a really hard enemy or I'm just having a bad day. So see, there we go. This is the advantage of having Stormwall on a medium shield with 100% blocking. Because he just tried to check me with his shield and I just blocked it and kept going. So I want to show you, I want to try to show off one other little trick that you can sometimes get away with shield blockers. and that is you can sometimes bait out a parryable attack if you hit their shield. So I'm gonna see if I can get him to do that. There we go. I'll say, okay, I baited out the parryable attack, but my timing was off. Yeah, my timing was off again, obviously. I parried like a year too early there. Alright, let's see. There we go, just like that. So sometimes if you got a shield blocker, you can bait out a parryable attack like that. So once you've practiced him a little bit, then you can move on to the next guy, which is, I would recommend coming over here. There are two guys with swords. Those are going to be the next guys you're going to teach, and the timing you're going to teach yourself, and the timing on them is going to be a little bit different. So if I can get his attention, come over here please, and let's go. He's running with his weapon raised. I just walked up, hit the parry button. We got a parry. Let's see if this guy will do it too. Now these guys, they are a little more complicated. They might throw some different attacks at you. So I got lucky there both times. They ran at me with their arms raised, so I was able to just walk up and get a parry off them, just right off the. I'm not sure what I was just able to walk up and fire the parry button and get a parry. So let's see if we can do that a couple more times. A lot of invader type NPCs can be taken advantage of this way. Eleonora, the pole blade wielding the one, you know, she has that really awesome pole blade weapon. Oh my god, she will every single time. If she's running at you, just walk up and hit that parry button, you'll get a parry every single time. Now there was a little bit of a delay there. I don't know if you noticed it. He was running at me, but he hadn't quite raised his weapon yet. So even though we had come together, he still hadn't raised his weapon. So there was like a half a second delay for him to raise his weapon. Let's take this guy out. So, and that's something that you'll get used to looking for. So he was running at me just then, but he did a slightly different attack. There we go. And I messed up the timing on that one. If at first you don't parry, parry again. There we go, just like that. In fact, I hope I can show you off another little thing that you can do when it comes to parrying, especially at the beginning when you're learning, but even I do this to this day, and that is, if you're not successful parrying the first attack, if I can speak, if you're not successful parrying the first attack, you can often get a follow-up attack. So I might be able to show that off with this guy here. These Hammer Brothers, in my opinion, are probably the hardest of the three to get a parry on. You see that, for me, the parry on these guys is really kind of weird. So I always kind of struggle a little bit with these guys. There we go, that's a little, see, if at first you don't succeed, try again. If at first you don't parry again. Just keep trying, especially in the beginning. If you're leveling bigger, you're gonna have plenty of health. That was huge, getting that brass shield. That's a really good shield for blocking and parrying. I think what will we do next? Maybe I'll show you how to get a really good talisman for parrying. So what I'll have you do next is we'll go on to, we'll call it step 4. We'll come here to War Master's Shack. I'm going to show you how to get the Assassin's Crimson Dagger, which is hugely helpful for learning how to parry because it lets you heal when you get a riposte. And that is significant because obviously you're going to be taking a lot of damage as you're learning how to parry. You're not always going to have time to heal with flasks. And it's like a huge, like it rewards your brain. Like to get a parry and then a riposte, and you're healing when you get that riposte. That is like a huge, like, positive reinforcement on your brain. I did not mean to talk to that guy. I just want to go in through the doors. The Uchigatana is in this dungeon too, which is really good. It's a good weapon, especially in the early game when you're fighting enemies that can't be parried, and it can also cause bleed. So, which I'm sure most people probably know by now. I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade some flasks here. Allocate. We'll keep it at 1 for now. So we're just gonna run through this. This is the Death-Touched Catacombs northeast of the War Master's Shack. We're just gonna run through here real quick, get the Uchi, unlock the doors here, and fight this boss, which is parryable. We'll get the Assassin's Crimson Dagger from her. So we're just gonna come back through here under the stairs, through this narrow hallway. You don't need to worry about any of these flowers unless you're using summons, which, if you're learning how to parry, you might not want to use summons. I don't, personally, I'm not one of those gatekeepers. I'm not gonna tell you, oh, you used summons, your game is invalid. You know, I'm not one of those jerks. But for parrying, you might not want to use summons because they can really screw up the, you know, they're going to aggro the boss. You're not going to be able to learn the timings on the parries. So it's best to just not use summons and just stay focused on the boss yourself. I suppose you could go and get Shibriri's Woe, but then I don't think even then the boss is going to stay aggroed to you 100% of the time. So I got the Uchi while I was talking. I unlocked the doors here. Do I want to do anything else? Wondrous Physic, Golden Vow. I don't have all the things I need for those. So we're just going to go in. We're going to parry this guy. This is, or this girl, I guess, because as far as I understand, the Black Knife Assassins are all female. We're going to go in here, and this is one of those where I use a medium shield because they do an attack that, I guess if you have lizard reflexes, you'll be able to parry it. I do not have lizard reflexes. I have more the reflexes of a drunken dog, but they do an attack where they bring their dagger up to their face, and then it's like a really quick like attack like that. And so I have gotten lucky before and parried it just by running up to them and just hitting the parry button and see what happens. That's not really a good consistent strategy, and I'm all about consistency when it comes to fighting bosses. So I'd rather just fight them this way, which is to block that first attack, or to be blocking in case they do that first attack, and then parry the follow-up attack. So here, I don't have a lantern yet. I don't have any way to light up this fight, I'm sorry. So let's see what she does. Okay, I messed that up. That was a good parryable attack, but I wasn't ready for it. Here, let's see. There's that quick attack. Okay, here she comes with... That probably was parryable, but I didn't take advantage of it. Oh, this is parryable. The spin attack, that is a great attack to learn how to parry. Because it gives you plenty of time to see it coming. So now let's see what else she does here. Oh, here's the spin attack again. Oh, I messed it up. If at first you don't parry, parry again. Alright, will you please come here and fight me? I'm trying to get her out into the light because I don't have a lantern right now. There we go. That attack is a good attack to parry. They dash forward and then stab downward, hit your shield, and then do a parryable attack. So that's a good attack to get used to parrying. Okay, that one was a little bit... That was what I was talking about with the quick attack, followed up by another attack, but my timing was off on that. So let's see if we can do something good here. All right. All right. I am messing up, but that's fine. I'm not gonna beat myself. There we go. There's what I was talking about, where she does the quick attack and then she follows it up with a parryable attack. So that's a good thing to take advantage of. There we go. I was able to get that because I've practiced this before, but yeah. So when she does the quick attack, as you can see, she has any number of attacks she can follow up with. And the only advice I have for you on that is to just practice, practice, practice. I've not seen that overhead attack before. That was really weird. But I think, yeah, she's gone. There's the Assassin's Crimson Dagger. Now we'll be able to do some healing when we get hit by bosses. So this is a good talisman to have at the beginning of the game. After you defeat Margit, you'll probably want to throw the well, I'm not quite sure. Usually I would use the Blue Dancer Charm and be light loading, but you might want to wear some armor in the beginning when you're learning how to fight these bosses. So I would definitely use the Assassin's Crimson Dagger, though, at the beginning of the game. And if I do a future video where I do like a Parry build guide, I can get into more of the talismans that I use. However, I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to load another save that I have with a leveled character, and I'm going to show you how to parry your first boss. So let me get into that. Okay, now this guy, for some reason, I leveled up the rapier. I guess I was just feeling bored with the daggers. I noticed that the rapier has a 130 crit rating, which is the same as these daggers, and it does a little more damage, especially now that I've made it +3. I've put Chilling Mist on this to give it the frost buildup. And then I have a Golden Bow that I showed you how to get it earlier. I've placed it on this dagger, and then I have Blue Dancer Charm, but you can see I've also picked up the Assassin's Crimson Dagger. So we can heal. I'm going to put that on. Well, we'll see. I'll go with the Blue Dancer for now. I'm equipped with some pants. Just trying to be light loading for this fight. I'm going to go in light loaded just because I've practiced this boss before. So just so I can do more damage for time's sake. Yeah, I think that's, well, let's look at the Wondrous Physic. I have Dexterity and Intelligence, because if you can see, when you have the Chilling Mist on your weapon scales with Dexterity, Strength, and Intelligence, and you can see it has D scaling on Intelligence as opposed to E on Strength. So that's why I have Dexterity and Intelligence on this. Whenever I apply Cold Affinity to a weapon, I always put the Dexterity and Intelligence knot Crystal Tears on my Wondrous Physic, because the Intelligence scaling is always more than the Strength scaling, even if it doesn't look like it. I think on the Misericord it'll say, it either says C for Dexterity and then D and D for Intelligence and Strength, or it just says D for all of them. But I've tested this, I've practiced it, and the Dexterity and Int scaling are definitely better than the Strength scaling when you do that, when you put a Cold Affinity on a weapon. So here we are at the Stormhill Everjail, and we're going to fight a Crucible Knight. This is the first boss that I ever defeated parry only. So, and I know I say parry only, and I know people have a difficult time with that because you're parrying and you're using a weapon to riposte. I call it parry only just for simplicity's sake. But I know you're technically not parry only, you're parrying and riposting. But anyway, let's just get into it. I digress. So we are going to come up here and we are going to do Wondrous Physic, Golden Bow, Refill Blue. All right, I'm dropping the dagger so I can be light loaded. I have Carian Retaliation on this shield. He's coming at me with his weapon raised. I just walk up to him, hit the parry button, and then back off. It's as easy as that. This is the way that I learned how to parry him at the beginning. He starts running at me with his weapon raised. I just walk up to him and press the parry button and then back off. And this is the way that I would recommend learning how to parry him in the beginning. So here he comes. All right, I was a little too far away on that one, which is fine if at first you don't parry. Parry again. So here he comes. I have no idea what I was doing there. I think my brain just stroked out for a second there. I had a little TIA, a little transient ischemic attack there just now. That's just the lesson of parrying. Like, you know, don't beat yourself up if you screw it up. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, try again. This game has taught me a lot of patience, which is not to say that I don't rage at this game sometimes, but one was physic, golden bow, refill blue. Drop the dagger and here we go. Alright, come on, let's try this again for real this time. The first time was just practice. So he runs at me with his weapon raised. I just walk up to him, hit the parry button, and then back off. That attack is parryable if you're a little, you know, brave. I was not close enough for that attack. Alright, come on. Nope. Oh, I do not. You gotta watch out for that shield. Alright, come at me, bro. Please come at me. Okay, see, he's messing with me now. Come on. Do the thing that I want you to do. I wasn't ready. Come on, Wolf, get your head in the game. There we go. Alright, so let's back off. I'm gonna sprint and put a little more distance. See if I can bait out the running attack with the weapon raised. Now, once you get close to half health, you're gonna be watching for second phase, which is right here. Alright, so he's coming at me. There we go, weapon raised. Just walk up, press the parry button. Alright, now back off. So, let's see what he does next. Here he comes. Perfect, thank you. That's exactly what I want to see. Okay, back off. Alright. Come on, sir. Come at me, bro. Here we go. Yes. Oh, no, that's the shield. So you want to be ready to dodge that. Dodge under him when he does the flying attack. Now, come on, bro. Here he comes. There we go. Again, as you can see, he has like a walk. He has like a slight little jog there, and then he has a running. And there we go. Walk up, press the parry button, wash, rinse, and repeat. Easy peasy. Never didn't have it. Stay golden, pony boy. I don't know. So there you go. If you just follow that strategy, you will take out your first boss, and you will feel very proud of yourself, as I did. So that, I think, will basically cover things for this parry guide. We're probably, I don't know exactly what kind of time frame we're on. We're probably coming up close to an hour. I don't want this video to be too long. I think I'll just wrap it up with a real quick Margit fight. So, and if people like this video and it does well, maybe I'll make this a series, and I'll do my second video could be like a more detailed, Margit fight or something. But what I think I'm gonna do for this is I'm gonna equip a dagger. I'm going to put I'm gonna put the chilling mist on it, so I have the cold affinity. I have the Carian retaliation on the red thorn round shield. So nice and light loaded. Yeah, I got golden bow on this dagger. So, again, I'm not going to get super hardcore into this here. What I am going to do is I'm going to go in here. I'm going to start the cutscene and then quit out. So that I can start the boss fight the same way every single time. So yeah, I'm not going to super hardcore get into this. I'll save the full strategy guide for a future video, as I said. But the basic strategy is going to be what I'm about to show you. Waiting for to time it with the loading screen. All right, so the basic strategy is gonna, do I have a lantern so you can see me? There we go. It's gonna be parry, 1, 2, 3, parry. Well, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna be parry, 1, 2, 3, parry, and then riposte. And then it'll be like you'll have time to get like 2 parries in. I mean, you'll have time to get 2 dagger swipes in, parry, 1, 2, 3, parry, and riposte. That's the basic sort of rhythm that you're gonna have with this boss fight. So let's reset things. Let's choose the golden bow. We're gonna do wondrous physic, golden bow, refill blue. Drop the dagger, swap it to the shield, and here we go. Alright, let's see what he opens with. Jump attack, that's beautiful because I can get a few swipes in. And parry, 1, 2, 3, parry, there you go. So he always follows the parry up with another really quick parry. This one, when he goes over his right shoulder, it's a little slower than when he goes over his left shoulder, but it's basically the same thing. When he transitions, you can get 5 dagger swipes in, and then, oh my god, he's given me the best attack he could have given me. There we go. What do we got? That's it. That's how you do that, friends. So I think with that, we'll wrap up the first parry video. If this video does well, if you liked it, if you found it helpful, maybe even a little entertaining, then I could come back, I could redo this fight, I could do a more detailed strategy on him to explain everything that just happened in a little more detail. But I think for now, that's going to be it. I really hope you found this video helpful, informative, maybe even a little bit entertaining, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you for watching, good luck, and happy gaming. Bye-bye.